Wildcard Saturday coming up on the 7th. And to me, this has 0-0, 6-6 tie written
Michael
all
Figueroa
over.
predicts 69 total yards of offense.
Oh, good. But, and you know what the problem is? I feel horrible for the Oakland Raiders.
Because
Horrible.
2 weeks ago, the majority of people had them as the best contender to stop New England. And I would agree with that. I mean, they had the chance to get a bye and a divisional round home game that I think they would have won. And now Carr is out. They go to McGloin last week, who now gets hurt, so they have to go to Connor Cook. I liked Connor Cook at the draft. I hope for him that this goes okay, but I think the version of okay for him would be not getting hurt by this defense. It's a very good defense. He's inexperienced. The Texans are at home. The bottom line is both quarterbacks. You've got Cook, who's bad in the sense that he's inexperienced.
Right,
he's not
and it's
ready
going to be
for
his
this
first
moment.
start. And if you saw the game against Denver, the throws he made were not good. I think the experience factor would go to Osweiler
I
here.
guess I have to go to Osweiler.
It's going to be a 9-6 game, double overtime.
I mean, they're going to run the ball and play defense.
I feel horrible for Oakland. Oakland was on top of the world going into Christmas Eve. They needed 2 more wins to clinch the bye in the AFC West, and that's because Kansas City had the tiebreaker on them.
Yeah.
Derek Carr goes down. The whole world goes to hell in Oakland, California. And I feel bad for them. I feel bad for their fans. I feel bad for Carr. I feel bad for Jack Del Rio. You know, you say best contender to New England. I had them beating New England.
I thought they had a chance to beat New England.
I had them going into Foxborough and winning. Without Derek Carr, they're an afterthought. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
It's
absolutely.
an afterthought. Their best bet at succeeding in the playoffs, honestly, was this route. To at least get a win over Houston, because we all thought that McGloin could beat Houston. Now, McGloin's out.
Yeah.
So now you have to go with the inexperience and Connor Cook. This is going to be bad.
I just don't think the Raiders can do this with a rookie at quarterback. If they do, what a job.
Exactly. You know, if Connor Cook goes into Houston and beats
this is the only game that we could tip the pick for, because frankly, there's no point in making a big grand spectacle out of the pick later.
What quarterback do you think is going to be better? Who do you think is going to win, and who do you think is going to get mauled in the divisional round? That's basically what this pick is going to be. Let's move on to something that could be a little bit more entertaining. That's the Lions at the Seahawks, Saturday night in Seattle. Now, we previewed this a little bit before, Nick. Detroit doesn't have a lot of momentum going into this game. I'm not saying Seattle's the big bad wolf that they were 3 years ago, but it's in Seattle.
They should be the favorite in this game.
Seattle, I would expect to be the favorite. They're in Seattle. It's no matter what kind of team they have, and their O-line is obviously not as great as it used to be. Seattle's still a dangerous place to play. Detroit has had nothing go their way the last 4 weeks. They lost the division, now are the 6th seed, probably have the toughest road to the Super Bowl. They haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years, and honestly, I don't see why that streak stops this year.
I have the article here from The Ringer by Danny Kelly. He's the staff writer for the NFL. He broke down all the playoff teams' biggest Achilles heel. Seattle, as you said, Sean, the offensive line is the problem. And I like what he said here. They are the embodiment of you get what you pay for. They have a league low $6.26 million of their cap dedicated to Seattle, to their offensive line. Mm-hmm. They have invested no money in this group. They tried to draft it, and it's just awful. Jermaine Ifedi and others are they might be the worst unit in the entire league. They make the Colts line look really good. Wilson has spent the season running for his life. It's incredible he hasn't gotten hurt worse. They can't.
You got to give him credit too. For what he's been.
They
able to
can't
do.
run the ball because of this. Thomas Rawls, all those guys really struggled because of the line.
I think that's what Detroit has the advantage on Saturday, too. I think that's one of their only advantages is on defense. Their line is going to match up well against Seattle's own line. That's really the only advantage I give Detroit in this game. But again, it's in Seattle. Russell Wilson has found ways to get out of the pocket and make plays. Jimmy Graham has played better. Their receivers are doing better. The running game is going to be a problem, yes. When you look at every other advantage, it belongs to Seattle.
Well, they're now without Lockett.
Yeah, which is a problem.
And my one concern for them is that they don't have Earl Thomas at safety, and that's a real issue because he is their better cover safety. Cam Chancellor's the guy that comes up in the box, plays the run.
Yes.
Earl's there to play center field and police the guy, everybody over the top, and if he can't do that, Stafford might be able to throw on this group. Devon Shed on the other side opposite Richard Sherman is going to have to cover Tate or Jones. Shed can be beaten, and with no safety help, the safety help that you're used to from Earl Thomas, it's very possible Detroit makes this game very interesting. I think the Lions, offensively, they can get some things done here. They're going to have to get something out of the running game.
Yeah.
They're going to have to try. mean, whether it's Zach Zenner, I mean, someone's going to have to do something to offset the pass. The problem the Lions have is they can't pressure the quarterbacks. That's the good news for Seattle's offensive line.
Russell Wilson has done a great job making plays. When that O-line would collapse on him, he's done a great job running out of the pocket, which is why I give the advantage to Seattle, because you're going to see this a lot on Saturday night. You're going to see Detroit probably do a lot of blitzing. You're going to see that a lot. Whether Seattle's O-line holds up or not, you're going to see Russell Wilson run out, make a lot of plays, and I think he's going to do enough to get the job done. I'm not saying he's going to kill Detroit. I'm not saying they're going to win by 40 here. I don't give Detroit much of a chance to win this game. Not that what I've seen in the last couple of weeks. You barely squeaked by Chicago. You can't beat the Giants. You can't beat the Cowboys, and you can't beat Green Bay. Those last 3 games, 1 win gives you the division. It's over. The fact that you couldn't do that, and yes, I know it was a tough schedule, the playoffs are not easy either. Honestly, I don't give Detroit much of a chance. Why don't we move on to Sunday, where it's going to get a lot more interesting, and to me, I think Dolphins-Steelers is going to be a very, very good game.
I think it has potential to be a very interesting ball game. You know, Miami does a lot of things well that Pittsburgh struggles to stop.
Yes.
They're not that good with their offensive line when it comes to protecting Roethlisberger. Wake, Sue, they use some of those combo blitzes. They bring extra guys. They'll bring 5-6 guys, and they're good enough in the secondary that if they want, they can bring 7. They'll just come up, load the box, try and stop Le'Veon Bell. He has to be a difference maker for Pittsburgh. Ajayi needs to be healthy for Miami to have a chance here. Miami's run defense is their Achilles heel here, as mentioned in the Ringer article, though. As I said, going back to Le'Veon Bell, they've really struggled when it comes to stopping the run. They're much better against the pass. They're just not solid against the run. You look at Pittsburgh, what's their issue? They don't pressure the quarterback much at all, really, this year. You know, Ryan Shazier is an outstanding middle linebacker, but he's got to stay at home and play over the middle. James Harrison is, 38 years old, and he's just not up to getting to the quarterback anymore. Lawrence Timmons, they both have 5 sacks. That's the individual lead for the team, the 2 of them. So they don't get after Matt Moore or Tannehill enough. The Dolphins have 2 good receivers in Devontae Parker and Jarvis Landry that can make plays. They've gotten some contributions out of Deion Sims. Kenny Stills had a really nice season. I'm sorry I left him out there. He's the 3rd receiver for this group. He's put together a nice season. Deion Sims at tight end. Now Marquise Gray out of nowhere has really done a nice job. They run the ball, as I said, really well with Damian Williams and Jay Ajayi. So I think this is going to be a very close game. Pittsburgh, I know they're at home. They have an edge going into it because of the home field, but Miami, no matter who's playing quarterback, I know Tannehill used to have a penchant for turning the ball over. He had 12 interceptions early in the year, and then through those last 4 or 5 games before he went hurt, he only turned it over 1 time.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins can play a clean road game here and make this interesting.
I agree. And you know what it is? Matt Moore has done a great job with this team taking over. You remember when Tannehill went down, the Dolphins weren't in the playoffs yet. Matt Moore got them there. Let's not say that, Matt Moore is going to start in the playoffs. They're done. I'm not saying it yet. Let's not pretend that Miami's not going to go into Pittsburgh and give them a fight. Because you've got, like you said, the defense has been outstanding. I think Gase just
keeps this team prepared properly.
Adam Gase has done a great job keeping his team prepared. But then again, you're facing Mike Tomlin. You're facing Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. A solid Pittsburgh defense. I'm not saying great, but they have their flaws too. You saw it against Baltimore. You give the experience factor to Pittsburgh, that is definitely going to come in against Miami. This is going to be a very, very competitive game.
I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the Sunday slate.
This is going to be one of the big games to watch.
This early Sunday game with Pittsburgh-Miami, I think is going to be really entertaining.
Absolutely.
And then the late game, which I guess that's a good segue for us.
Yes,
we can go into the Giants-Packers.
At the Packers at Lambeau. Weather forecast right now, they're saying in the single digits, which gives the Packers the advantage, I would think. Of course, you've got the whole thing, everyone making a big deal that the Giants flew down to South Florida to celebrate. And
let's get that out of the way first.
Yeah, can we do that first, please?
I don't like it. I don't think you should be doing it, but it's only going to be a story if they lose the game.
Exactly. If they win and then they're in Dallas for the divisional round, no one's going to make a big deal out of it.
Now, the one thing that I will grant to people who say, well, because I know Trey Wingo had tweeted about everyone gave Tony Romo a lot of garbage a few years ago when the Cowboys were the 1 seed. They had the bye, and they went away on the bye week. This is the week of the game.
Yeah,
I don't know why on Monday of game week you're not here in Jersey at the Performance Complex down at the Meadowlands getting ready. I mean,
why are you in Miami 6 days before Green Bay?
Again, it's only an issue if they don't win the game. I don't agree with it.
Let them do what they
want. I digress.
It's like you just said. It's like the Cowboys went away the week before the game. The Giants are in Miami 6 days before one of their biggest games of the year. Again, everyone's only going to make a big deal out of it. If they don't beat Green Bay at Lambeau, it's going to be the biggest story Monday morning. But if they do beat Green Bay, it's going to be forgotten about, and then it's going to be New York-Dallas preview Monday morning. Looking at the game in general here, now that we got that out of the way, Packers-Giants, we've seen this story before. The Giants have gone into Lambeau when it meant. and won. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers have fell victim to that. Their defense played better than expected. Their offense played better than expected when it mattered. I agree with you. I think Eli's had one of the worst years of his career. He has played well when it mattered. You look at OBJ, you look at the running game that is come in and out, but especially the defense, I think is going to be a big problem for Aaron Rodgers in that O-line. I mean, you've seen flaws in it. You saw flaws in it against Detroit, and I think that defense is going to come into factor against Green Bay on Sunday.
Their biggest problem right now, the Packers, is their cornerback depth. They're without Demarius Randall and Sam Shields, and now Demetri Goodson, who played a lot of snaps as well. Now, Quentin Rollins got hurt on Sunday night. He was playing a lot of snaps. I mean, they're going out there with Ladarius Gunter and, I mean, God knows who. I don't mean to insult them because I don't even know who it is at this point. I don't even have it in front of me. The point is they're not good against the pass with everybody in. They're not going to be any better against Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz and Sterling Shepard without those guys. So that is a concern going into this matchup. On the Giants, it's a one-trick pony offense, man. They throw it a lot. They don't run it all that well. Paul Perkins had, the 100-yard game this week against Washington. It all falls on what can Odell Beckham Jr. do? Can Sterling Shepard help him out in any way? The Giants' defense is a very elite unit. The way Rodgers is playing, as I don't think they're going to be able to hold him down all day. Would giving up 20 points be a good day for them, right? I would say that's a pretty good 2 touchdowns, a couple field goals probably. That's a pretty successful afternoon for them, on the road especially. Are the Giants going to be able to score 20 points?
Yeah.
Or 24 points to win that game? I
have to agree, and especially with when the weather comes into play, like I said, even though I think the Packers have the advantage, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game on either side. But I think the advantage does have to go to Aaron Rodgers in that factor. And again, Green Bay is the hottest team in the league. They've won 6 in a row. Everything is starting to come together with them. Yes, they have flaws on defense. They have flaws on their O-line, but Aaron Rodgers has found ways to get the job done, and he's made new superheroes at everybody. Rodgers, Ripkowski, Jordy Nelson found his way back. Everybody has been getting involved.
I just think it's a tall order to consistently ask this defense every week to win the game.
It's like what we said about Denver before. The defense is not going to win every game.
Yeah.
Now, it might win the 3 games that matter that bring you a Super Bowl. The Giants got 4 weeks to go to do that. Can you count on the defense to win 4 games? To me, the answer is no. I don't know if you can count the defense to win this game.
It's a big ask, and I just... a lot of people saying that this Giant team creates the same vibe that the last 2 Super Bowl winners did. I don't think they do.
They don't.
Eli was better both of those times. They ran the ball better. Their offensive line was better.
Their defense in 08 was one of the best in history.
The 07 defense and the 11 defense were both very good. I don't see it with this offense. This offense is very one trick. They don't do enough when it comes to running the ball. I don't get that same vibe from this group at all. I really don't.
I don't either. Again, when you look at the factors that they got to play in, they're going to be in extremely cold weather, and they're celebrating in Miami 6 days before. That doesn't help.
To me, something doesn't register correctly with that.
Something doesn't fit right.
And as for Green Bay, as hot as they are, and I know Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind, but I have seen this movie before. He has lost home playoff games more than people point out in his career.
That's what I keep going back to. I keep going back to that 15-1 season where the Giants beat them in the divisional round.
They lost to the 49ers.
They lost last year to Arizona. It keeps going back. And keep in mind here,
the bad man that everyone says he is, I sometimes have my doubts about all that. They didn't execute well in any of those games. The Seattle game especially, I know they collapsed in the second half, the whole onside kick business, all that. They were 1 for 6 in the red zone.
Yeah.
1 for 6. At the goal line.
Yeah.
At the goal line, people. That should be 38-0.
Exactly.
Put the ball in the end zone. It's a very intriguing game. Like we said, I think the 3 games following Houston-Oakland are far better than the Houston-Oakland game will be for sure.
Absolutely. I think no matter what, Giants-Packers, I think is going to be
the best game of the weekend.
I think it'll be one of the best games of the weekend, no doubt. And you got Dolphins, Steelers, Lions, Seahawks. I think it'll shape up to be a great wild card weekend.